Okay, I've checked carefully all along everywhere else in the tank that there's no other leaks. And now, take a little arrow to be sure I know where that hole is. I'm going to take the silicone out, the old silicone, a couple inches to either side though. Okay, drain the tank. Funny thing was, where I was really checking and doing all those repair jobs, way down here in the front, because that's where that water was showing up. Right? I was repairing this area. Couldn't find any grit or anything from the substrate that had pushed under the silicone. So I was really wondering how it managed to leak, because everything looked to be in good shape. But I laid in new silicone anyway, waited 48 hours and checked it. That's where the leak is. Mind you, silicone's still black in that corner because that's one place that I didn't repair. So there's my little mark indicating that little telltale, and somewhere behind there, down in that corner, there's a little piece of no goodness. I'm going to take this right from where I ended the repair here last time. Cut a little bit into that clear, and then take out this black. It's another little clear bit from a previous patch job in the corner. I don't want to get too carried away, but this black stuff is coming out. Just make sure it's cut loose so it can be pulled all the way out. Let's see what we got. Somewhere right in there, right in these areas, there's a spot, maybe that shiny spot there that was a bubble. That's where the water was getting up under the silicone. This was the side that was facing downward. That water got up under that silicone, started to remove itself from the tank under pressure. Nothing much going on in the side panel, but that's apparently the source of the leak. Doesn't take much. Okay, let's trim this away. When I've done this, this is always the part that I worry about, because I want to make sure that whatever silicone stays is well attached, well adhered to the glass. And if it's not, or if you don't make a nice clean cut, when you tug out the stuff you're removing, you run the risk of peeling the adjacent stuff, the stuff you're trying to leave, run the risk of leaving that in place, but pulled away from the wall of the tank. So, let's get these little flaps off here. When we go over this with fresh silicone, we're going to go up to that spot and then go over it all the way over to the corner so that there isn't any way that there can be any water to air contact, as it were. Okay, over here on this side. With a similar trim job. Okay, bring in the chemistry, some acetone, aquarium safe sealant. Cool thing about acetone is if you ever want to chill a bottle of wine, you got a lot of this stuff, and some paper towels, and you're not indoors, and there's no flame around, you can just wrap the wine bottle in paper towels and pour acetone on it and let the acetone evaporate. It evaporates so fast the latent heat of vaporization will cool the bottle. You don't need a refrigerator. So assuming you've got a jug of acetone and you're out in a park somewhere and you want a nice cold drink, just careful with the fumes. Woo! Getting stoned in here. Well, what I'm going to do to displace some of that water and speed up the drying, be liberal with this stuff. Now, water doesn't dry all that fast, not compared to acetone. But that'll get down there in the cracks. Make sure that the water got out of there. Nice clean glass, no oil or residue on it anywhere around the patch job. And I'm going to take this little single edge blade and I'm going to wedge it right down in between the two panes of glass. I'm going to create a bit of an airspace, someplace where I can squeeze in the silicone. Something I found that it's very helpful to have when you're working with sticky adhesives. You'd be surprised. You want to go put something down that's full of goo and you don't have any place to, so tear up a bunch of paper towels into little chunks. Oops. Let's try that again. I'm going to squeeze a bit of the old silicone and onto this paper towel, just so I can get to some fresh stuff. That's the kind of thing you don't want to have sitting around. You bump into it by accident. And starting off to one side, where there's still good sealant, drive that bead down. Try to move smoothly. I know I'm jumping around a little bit. Drive that bead down into the gap that's being held open by the razor. Take the razor out. Put it on one of those gooey pieces of paper napkin. Take your caulk buddy. Wonderful little pull. And drive that silicone bead under pressure down into the realm of the crack. That's not a very big bead, however. So on top of that, without trying to drive the nose of the bottle and the little squeezy tube into where I would disrupt what I just laid out, just going to lay some more material. Clean the residue off the caulk buddy here. What a waste of nice silicone. And then just smooth out that bead a bit without being as aggressive as I was when I shoved the silicone into the crack. This is just going to be the wider segment. The whole point of this, smear that down in there. The whole point of this is just to provide some good margin to attach to the glass. Because that, as the stones move around, that's what's going to happen to dislodge the silicone that's in there. So there we go. See you in 48 hours.